Master. Let's speed it up, right?
All right.
But he's
Reuben pointing at the camera.
Yeah, so we're ready to go.
Looks like he's on the play. He's going to lead with an Ancient Tomb. The 8 Soul Lands are big deals in Reuben's deck. Holy crap.
He has all the cards he needs.
Yep.
He's actually dead next turn, BBD is, unless he duresses here.
Yep.
Now, you definitely play... you have to play in this order, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
actually,
if you want to
turn 1 minute. No, he has two Ancient Tombs, so yes, he can go off next turn. Yep.
Yes. So, Painter Servant will name a color. Doesn't really matter which color.
Right.
And then Grindstone, it mills 2 cards.
Oh, BBD.
And if they're the same color, repeat it.
Yeah, BBD is dead right here, I think.
Yep. Unless BBD somehow gets either the Gitaxian Pro Breed or the he has a Lotus Petal that he can make black mana.
Yeah,
but
doesn't look good.
More than likely, BBD is just going to die on turn 2.
Yeah. So he has Infernal Tutor he keeps on top, and then a Trop Island. Trop Island's an interesting addition in the Storm deck. What's the green for?
The green is for sideboard cards, namely Abrupt Decay.
Okay.
Cards like Chalice of the Void and Counterbalance, incredibly difficult to deal with conventionally.
Sweet deck, Brian says. Cool story, bro. Thanks for the skill-intensive finish. Slide your deck over to the right, and dead.
Alright, casual turn 2 kill from Reuben Bresler.
And that's kind of the shrug, you can't come into a Legacy tournament and be upset by that, because that is what the deck's built to do.
Absolutely.
It's built to kill you on turn 2. If they do it, bully for you.
That's basically Reuben's best possible draw.
Right, it doesn't get better than that.
Right.
So
and Brian is very capable of those draws as well.
Right.
I've killed people with Storm on turn 2 quite frequently.
Right.
It's even possible to kill somebody on turn 1.
I don't think I was playing against you, but I played against a Storm player. It was an invitational a couple ago, and I not only Thought Season turn 1, but Therapy pulled another card out and then died on turn 3.
Yeah.
After a Thought Season and a Therapy, I'm like, I didn't think that was possible. I thought he was cheating somehow and added some Storm counts, but nope. Deck is very resilient to hate. I mentioned earlier your fall in the top 8, which is kind of why we said we can never count anyone out, because I would have put my house on you against the Elf deck that had the triple therapy that game. I would have sold my car, or at least take the title of my house, my car, put it on you in the match, and I would have been broken homeless. But it's not like it was your fault.
Thankfully you didn't.
Thankfully I didn't. It's not your fault. It's just sometimes these decks can just, in Legacy, there's answers, and you draw enough of them, you can stop any deck no matter how bad the odds are.
Right.
So we're here to the sideboard. What is BBD sideboard in? I can help with I know what Painter Servant's
All right, so I wouldn't imagine BBD sideboarding much. One of my biggest rules about this deck is, unless you're absolutely positive, do not sideboard. Right,
because when you water down your a Storm deck, it gets pretty nasty.
Right, you might think like, oh, I lost to 2 permanents, Painter Servant and Grindstone, that I can Abrupt Decay.
Right.
Well, the problem with siding an Abrupt Decay is you combo less frequently.
Right.
In addition, the other aspect of Reuben's deck that's so important is his 8 Blood Moons.
Right.
Or his 6 Blood Moons.
So pretty much when you're the Storm player here, you need to fetch Island Swamp pretty early, because Blood Moon in his deck and Reuben's deck is just better than every other deck, because you have 4 Simian Spirit Guides, you have 8 2 colorless mana producing lands, so you can play a turn 1 Blood Moon without any care in the world, and then if you played a fetch land and got an Underground Sea, you're going to be really hating yourself.
Right. So yeah, generally Brian only have 1 source of blue mana, 1 source of an island, and then like maybe a Lotus Petal might get him a starting black mana. Yeah,
it seems like Blood Moon is less effective against your deck than a lot of decks, because you do have access to the artifact mana as well.
Yes, and in addition, BBD has 1 island, 1 swamp.
Okay, so a few cards that Reuben's going to bring in. I've seen people bring in Artifact Hate against Storm. It's kind of questionable at best, because when you have the LED, you can easily go off, and when you play the LED, so like a Manic Vandal is not the greatest.
No.
A Phyrexian Revoker seems like the best possible one, because it stops it cold-hearted.
So yeah, Phyrexian Revoker is actually very good in the matchup. Unlike Pithing Needle, it can stop mana sources.
Right, yeah, so he
can name Lion's Eye Diamond or Lotus Petal.
Right. So we're going to see the Phyrexian Revoker come in.
And the big card for Reuben is 4 copies of Thorn of Amethyst.
Right, yeah, and if we could pull Thorn of Amethyst up on the screen here, it's a card not really played too much because usually in the decks only that have City of Treasures and Ancient Tombs, because especially on the draw, you don't have time to tap 2 lands the hard way and play this card. It's much better through one of the cheating ways to sneak it into play here. So we're going to see Thorn of Amethyst come in, making things cost 1 more. We're going to see Phyrexian Revoker come in, and here it is on the screen. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to play. And if you notice, Reuben's deck has 17 creatures made, so it's not really going to hurt him too bad.
Right. And the other thing about Thorn of Amethyst, Sphere of Resistance is the exact same card, except for it makes all spells.
Right.
This is only non-creatures.
Yeah, so it doesn't hurt him as bad.
Doesn't hurt him as much. Because he doesn't want Thorn of Amethyst against other creature decks.
Right, exactly. What did he? I think he boards out Chandra Pyromancer. That seems miserable in this matchup.
Right. That's a. Reuben was calling it Red Jace.
Red Jace, yeah. I think
it's something that you can repeatedly draw cards with.
Right.
This is not an attrition matchup.
No.
And the other card I would take out if I was Reuben is Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt. So that's exactly 5 cards for exactly 5 cards in. Phyrexian Revoker, 4 Thorn of Amethyst. Red Elemental Blast, can stop a Brainstorm. It can stop.
Reuben also has a couple of tutor target. He has Imperial Recruiter.
Yeah.
His deck, and it has some silver bullets, basically.
Yeah.
Some single cards like Jaya Ballard is not super exciting. Spellskite is pretty much a blank card.
Yeah, yeah. So those need to come out too.
Goblin Welder, not super exciting either.
Yeah, so he could bring in like Magus of the Moon. He could bring in he could bring in the Manic Vandal if he really wants to. Because a lot of times I've seen Storm players. I don't know.
He could bring in additional Red Blast or
the Red Blast is good here
because he has 6 main and 2 more on the sideboard.
Right.
So Braun-Duin should not be leaning on his blue spells.
Right. All right, so the beauty about the Blast, too, because with Painter Servant, it don't even matter if you have blue spells, right?
You can blow up lands, blow up,
I remember
counter Infernal Tutors.
You ever played those, what was that card called? It was like 2 mana, it was like the Lens, where you could tap it and make a permanent a color of your choice. I forgot what it's called, Distorting Lens.
Yes.
I remember playing Distorting Lens with all the Blast, too. It was pretty fun, F&M deck. Well, it's fun for me, not fun for other people, but it's the blowyourlandsup.com here. All right, so BB starts off with a Swamp.
Yeah, so Brian knows that to play around the Blood Moon effects. So he's fetching out a Swamp, likely going to see a Duress.
Yeah. Yep.
It looks like he has a... Yep, there it is.
The old M14 Duress, I think, right?
It's the picture multiple times.
Well, come on, Brian. You don't need those.
He has Sweet Dark Rituals.
Okay, we'll let it have it. That's a lot of Painter Servants.
All right, so only one option.
Yep.
If Brian somehow had a Lotus Petal on a Cabal Therapy, Reuben would not be happy.
Therapy would just be the bee's knees here. He only has, what, 1 Therapy? No, 2 main, 1 in the board, so he's up to 3 after sideboard. Does he have a Therapy in his hand? Because that would be just... Even though he's going to only get 2 of the Painter Servants, he's still take 2 Painter Servants out of the picture. It's not bad. And then if he did bring in the Abrupt Decay, the only one, that last one, he is just out of...
I think Reuben... I understand why Reuben would want to play Phyrexian Revoker. Just to up the clock and to stop him. He probably won't die.
Yeah,
but he's really weak to Therapy right here.
This would be a disaster.
Yeah. So Reuben names the default card in this matchup, Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, there's no need to play it now on Lion's Eye Diamond because A, Duress doesn't hit Revoker, and B, if he has a Therapy, I would rather him hit my Revoker than the only way I can combo off and win. Because I'll be down to 1 Painter Servant after that, and chances are not looking good here. So Reuben's taking a risky play here. If BBD, when he preordains, does not see a Therapy, then Reuben will skate by or unscathed.
The other option that Reuben needs to consider is, what if Brian just has a turn 2 win in his hand?
Yeah.
That's it's not very frequent, but it's very much a possibility.
Right, and he's playing the safe route against it. I think with a hand that bad that Reuben has, I would probably still play the Painter Servant.
Yeah,
what if he draws if he draws...
So here's Infernal Tutor and Past in Flames, I believe.
So he's going to be safe.
He's going to take... Yeah, he's likely going to take one of them because he needs a way to come up. He wants both of them, however.
Okay, so...
I think he's going to set up for... I believe Brian's going to go for turn 4.
Oh, wow, he drew a mountain, so now he has access to Blast after he plays Painter Servant, so he can counter any spell in BBD's deck.
Alternatively, if Reuben wanted to, he could just Stone Rain.
He could.
Literally, all permanents are blue now.
Yeah, I think he's not going to. I think he's going to go the safe route, because he's going to next turn then play 2 more Painter Servants and then just have the clock. The 1/3 clock.
So, yeah, looks like Brian does have a land. So I think what I expect is a Brainstorm first here to shuffle away the dead Lion's Eye Diamond.
Right.
And then
If I was Reuben,
and then one of his Brian's Infernal Tutors is probably going to be cast this turn because he already has Past in Flames.
do you blast the Brainstorm here when your hand's this weak?
I would have blasted the Brainstorm.
Yeah, me too. I think like with a hand like this, it's not like you can stop a combo off at this turn. You need to just hope you can deny him the cards in order to combo. But he's gonna let it go. So he's gonna just hope that Lowly.
Kind of interesting that Brian wanted a fourth land as opposed to shuffling first.
Yeah, me too. I think he's looking at that Pass in Flames in hand and maybe trying to eke out the most advantage from it. A lot of times, I guess you can just Pass in Flames and then refill your hand with your graveyard if you're struggling, because he does have the Probe, Brainstorm, Preordain in the yard. But I think most of the time when you're going off, I think it's time to just win instead of dilly-dally here. So let's see what he does.
So I think Brian needs to wait one more turn. He also really one subtle Storm thing that I did not learn initially, and I think Brian did make a mistake on keeping his land, is that if he draws a land next turn, he can't go Hellbent with his Infernal Tutor.
That's true. Yeah.
Because of the Phyrexian Revoker on Lion's Eye Diamond, he's just going to have to naturally play out his whole hand to go Hellbent.
Maybe he kept the land because an LED wouldn't do it for him. Maybe he needs that extra mana. I didn't crunch the numbers, but you're right. If he draws a land, he will have to at least wait another turn and then keep that waiting with another land drawn. Every land he draws is crippling, I guess.
Yes.
So we'll see.
I do feel like...
Here's the all-natural one you were talking about. I need my deck back, please.
So he's not going to get a Hellbent Infernal Tutor yet.
Right. I think he's just going to give you another ritual,
Yep. Cabal Ritual. That'll be the... Yep, that's 7 cards. So that's 8 cards, actually. So it's thresholded already.
Right.
But he just wants more mana.
Right, yeah. And he's got the lowly Volcanic Island over there, so he can actually ritual all day, Pass in Flames, do it all again because he has that 4th land in hand. But we have a Stone Rain.
Yep.
Now, if you were going to Stone Rain, you probably should have done it earlier. I mean, you come in with a plan of A, I'm going to use this card to disrupt, or B, I'm going to LDM. Reuben doesn't want to let him use his mana then Stone Rain him, so hopefully he learns from that. So Reuben here, let's see what he's got.
So Brian down to 10, just the Phyrexian Revoker beats.
Right. And people think that, oh, I can just pay all the life in the world when I'm, playing against Storm because they're not
combo
going to kill
deck,
me.
yeah.
But then
that's every time you tap Ancient Tomb is one less Storm.
Yeah.
Brian has. So I think Brian actually has to. Oh, Brian's actually in a decent amount of trouble. I don't think he can combo off this turn. Reuben gives BBD the old shucks. Once he plays a land.
Yeah.
I might have wanted to brain. Oh man, that's a tough one. So Brian can't.
I think he's going to try to go, isn't he?
Well, he can't because he has a Brainstorm in his hand that he needs to get rid of for Infernal Tutor to be Hellbent.
Right.
And then he also has to have 2. He has to pay 2 mana for Cabal Ritual. So, and 1 red for Past in Flames. So that's 4 different starting manas.
Right.
And BBD doesn't have that. He only has 3.
It really, people take for granted that the LED discard your hand is not a negative in this deck.
It's the most powerful ability in Magic. I think Brian's actually in. He might have just realized that he needs to get rid of that Brainstorm.
Yeah, I'll see what he does here. I mean, he obviously can. He doesn't have the luxury of blue mana galore to do all that preordaining and stuff in the yard to fix his mana.
Yeah, I don't know what BBD can do here.
Well,
I think
actually, he has this because he gets to Brainstorm with that last blue.
No, that's for red. That's a red.
Oh yeah, red. Yeah.
For Past in Flames.
So he has to hit. What's he?
I don't. Yeah, so you see BBD's mana, but unless there's something, because you can't duress yourself.
Right. Yeah.
If you could duress yourself, you could therapy yourself.
Yeah, I think he realizes.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
what just happened?
Yeah. I think he maybe thought he could duress himself.
So Storm is 5, mana is up to 11.
Are we missing
mana?
something in the beginning of his graveyard, or?
I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, because right now looks like BBD is committing seppuku here, the old suicide in the Magic terms. He does have Geotaxian Probe, so he can possibly draw something, right?
Yeah.
Can you,
So okay. So here's a mistake, and Brian just realizes this.
yeah, duressing himself.
His line was to duress himself.
Right. All right, so he's got a probe here. Here we go. Probe here. If he hits,
Therapy,
what's that?
Dark Ritual.
Okay.
That's actually not the worst thing in the world, but he's not in great shape.
So, does he have to?
He cannot go off this turn.
No, he can't. He's got to say go.
So next turn, it's conceivable that BBD can brainstorm and like he needs some more mana.
Right.
But yeah, missing the whole duress thing really costs Brian here. He's still not out of it because Reuben cannot kill him.
Right.
And there's no banner burn, thankfully.
Yeah. He had 14 mana floating. And
Yep.
shakes his head. It's okay, BBD. We love you, buddy. It happens to the best of us.
So pretty solid draw from Reuben. Phyrexian Revoker.
And if I can segue from it, it's another reason why people ask, why do you play that garbage Esper deck all the time?
Yeah.
When you play the same deck over and over and over, it really minimizes mistakes. Even though my percentage
That's
chance of winning
good.
is like 30%, still, BBD's an amazing player, but playing a brand new deck is a little bit rough.
That, as it turns out, Reuben's second Phyrexian Revoker, assuming it names Lotus Petal, is huge here.
Yeah, I'm assuming it did.
Yeah.
I don't think there's even another card you can name.
Right.
You can do a sick name of a polluted delta, right?
I can't name land
lands.
cards.
Oh, Pithy Needle can lay
But
lands, right.
unfortunately for Brian, he only has exactly enough mana to cast Past in Flames. He won't have any mana left over. So I think Reuben's going to take this one down.
Yeah, he's dead. BBD waiting one turn probably could have won this game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or if he just cast his Brainstorm before starting, he would have drawn Dark Ritual or Lotus Petal.
Yeah, which he could have just expended in play and then.
Yeah, which he would have been able to. He just basically needed a card to get rid of with Brainstorm, and he also needed a mana source, either Dark Ritual or Lotus Petal.
Yeah.
But Brian just missing the. See, I think in Brian's head he could duress himself, in which case his play was fine.
Right, you can Thought Siege yourself.
You can Cabal Therapy yourself.
You can't Inquisition, you can't Duress. Those are the target opponent reveals their hand, then you get to choose. So it's kind of a little nuance that you need to be very careful of, especially if you're trying to take a complicated line of play like that. You gotta make sure the cards can target yourself. Historically speaking, you're playing Reanimator decks always Thought Seize themselves when they're desperate, discard their card, and that's how they go.
Dredge is another deck that uses Cabal Therapy on itself. Not all the time.